Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, bros and hoes, and trophy hunters of all ages. It is the 24th episode of the Raw Cuts Gaming Podcast.
Woo.
I'm your host tonight, Woods _or_Wads. And as always, I'm joined by the Naked Gamer, the sexy bear himself, Andy, Big D.
It's me.
What do you have crack-a-lackin' for us?
Me, man, I'm excited to get the fuck out of 2020. That's what I got going on. Happy New Year. Early for everybody out there.
But we're burning this bitch down tonight. And to do that, we need a guide. And the best guide I know is the trophy hunter himself, CJ. The man, Rinder!
Woo!
Get amped.
Everything with mentions like that. I love that.
So, we thank you for tuning in to the rawest and rarest takes in the gaming podcast sphere. As always, we're bringing you our own unique takes on all things video games while publishing and recording our episodes live and edit free. All right. So you can check us out on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcast, Breaker, Podcast, Radio Public, and Anchor. And if you'd like to see our ugly mugs, hop on right now, this very fucking moment, to YouTube via the Raw Cuts Gaming channel. This week topics are none. We're just going to talk about what we played, and we're going to talk about our pie in the sky, our hopeful aspirations and wishes for the beautiful year that is 2021.
This is now the Raw Cuts All Nude Podcast.
It's the All Naked Podcast. Fuck it. We're going out with a bang.
See, CJ, don't you feel better?
2020. Hey,
I do.
everybody, 2020, we salute you.
That's right, suck
Right
it, 2020.
here. These nuts. All right, so with that said, we're going to bust straight into it with what we've been playing. It might be a game where we're all naked and nude together. It might not be. But we're going to find out. We're starting it with you, the Naked Gamer. Tell us how he's going to do. And, I mean, you're our ringleader for our current clothing
that's true.
choices this evening. So what's up with that?
Hey, man. It's that particular game is just called Life. Life in my bedroom. So let's see what we've been playing. We played some more Grand Theft Auto together, which was fucking glorious. I loved it. If you guys have not gone and watched the review on Twitch, it's about 2 hours long. However, if you fast forward your ass to about the hour and a half mark, you will see a very glorious run where we get on the bikes, we get all the way to the end. I still didn't know how to open my parachute, neither did Ryan. We're running down the hill. We make it in the dinghy with literally 1 second left on the timer, and Woods does a U-turn right onto a rock, of which we cannot recover. Later to discover the boat only needed to leave the river to complete the mission. No one was shooting at us anymore. And we spent a good 15 minutes laughing about it, and it was really awesome. And shortly thereafter, we beat that heist. So looking forward to starting new ones, possibly on that new island, since Woodsy pimped himself out and got all the stuff we need. Let's see, what else? We've been doing more story mode on Ghost of Shishisha. And CJ finally bought it when it was on sale.
I did.
So
CJ!
Yeah, now we're on the mission to get to level 100 in Legends mode, so that we can start doing raids. Right? Is that it, Woods? Is it 100?
That's it.
And you're almost there. You're at 95.
I think 96 or 97,
Yeah.
but I'm just.
So you got Ryan and I up to 65 last night. So
I'm just hovering right now, trying to help my boys.
Yeah.
Help my boys.
And CJ, we'll do the old Diablo for you. So if Woods, Ryan, and I are all in the 90s, then you can just skip right to the hard ones.
I'll level up.
Yeah, and we'll just get you good shit right away. So that'll be awesome.
quintillion bucks. It's
And
gonna
then
be fantastic.
Woods Ryan and I cleaned up in competitive Rocket League this week. It was pretty great. So we had a pretty good week even. My pops have been here watching and commenting and playing with us. So that's been great. My boy's been playing Astrobot VR, starting to clean up in there. So
Nice.
it's been a lot of fun. So how about you, Siege?
We visited some family for Christmas this past weekend, so I didn't get much gaming time in. I did beat the heist with you guys. You did not undersell the epic failure that was of our first accomplishment of us either jumping off and one of us landing and killing ourselves off the bridge, or whatever the case was, and Woodsy getting that boat stuck trying to U-turn that pig around. But the time we did beat it, it was me that did not make the jump. Everyone else did, and you guys coming back to save me on the boat.
Also,
And
1 second
there
left on
was
the
Still
clock.
another 1 second thing.
I mean, that thing was like a second, like 0 seconds left when I
Yeah.
sat down. To get in, and then you have to sit down. You have to
If
push
they
your
threw
button.
the instant replay flag on that, we would have been fucked.
And Aaron Jones stepped on the sideline there. That was how close it was.
Yeah.
So, we were damn close. And that was like the, one more run, and we finally did it, man. So
Well, it was only 2 after that epic fail.
It was. Because we
and
had
actually,
one epic fail.
Since we have a podcast, I just wanted to quick throw out the issue I was having was you need to pull back on the trigger while you're free falling on the left stick to stabilize your flight before to let you open the parachute, of which I was not aware. So I was frantically mashing X while I was falling and nothing was happening, and it was driving me bananas.
We should also qualify for our viewers and listeners out there that for the Diamond Bank heist, by far and away the best strategy is to abandon the motorcycles as quickly as fucking possible and find yourselves a fucking SUV or a 4-door car and hop in that bitch and go as one unit cohesively with 3 dudes shooting
out the
around
sides,
the driver the whole time.
Yeah, we collectively did
Fuck
way
motorcycles.
better than we did not doing that.
The one benefit that would have happened is if we would have made it to the bridge with the motorcycle is when I jumped out of that thing, I jumped out of with the door facing down. So my character shot like straight down, and the parachute did open. I didn't pull back, but I was like,
You must have been at the right
for the
angle or
ground.
something.
So,
yeah.
Motorcycle you would have been, but we never made it to the damn bridge anyway. So, that was a lot of fun, man, beating it. Although the slog getting there was quite a grind, but we had a good time playing that. A little bit of more Miles Morales. I've just been kind of chipping away at that. My percentage meter says about 21% done, so I've been doing the side quests and all that shit to kind of power level myself up to kind of skip through that pig as fast as I can. And then, Ghost of Tsushima came out. I said, I have a hard line in the sand at $40 to buy that game. It came in at a whopping $40.19. So I said, what's the old hold gift? To which which my PayPal account pinged with 25 cents, saying, "Keep the change, you filthy animal." So I had to go check that and then proceed to purchase and download that game. So
Hey, you're my boy, Blue. What can I say?
That's right.
I got a good belly laugh at that around the breakfast table in the morning when I saw that quarter pop through on my PayPal account. So, so it's downloaded and installed. So I was just waiting for me to finish up Spider-Man here. Hopefully this week. I've been planning to game a bit and break, but break is sounding less and less game time. So we'll see here. So, Woodsy, what have you been playing, big dog?
Well, first off, I'd like to say that it wasn't really a donation so much as the life take a penny tray that just is, right? Sometimes you get some pennies, sometimes you get some pennies, right? I was given the pennies that time, so
it was a good laugh.
Paying it forward 25 cents at a time. That's how I ball. So, but yeah, no, D basically covered what I was playing for the most part. I jumped into actually Red Dead Online.
Horse riding simulator.
Oh. Yeah, horse riding simulator, 2018 or whatever. Explicitly just because I was trying to snag up all the free Christmassy themed shit for our, Red Dead Online and for Grand Theft Auto Online, which I did. At least I think I did for Red Dead. I don't know. I don't fucking play like that. So if I didn't get it all, whatever. But yeah, no, had a good time playing the game this week. Also got a little bit further in Sniper Elite 3. That game is kind of becoming a slog, and it's just I gotta say, man, like it plays so much like a last gen game because it is a last gen game, and not last gen, like PlayStation
Like
3
PlayStation 3 gen.
gen. It's just it's
Maybe time
good.
to pull the ripcord in that game and throw up a new poll, man.
Yeah, it's almost
You might be
2021,
right.
man. Let's get a new poll up. That's taking too
2021.
long.
Yeah.
All
Is
right,
it?
it is. It is decided.
It is decided.
It is decided. All right, new
Put,
poll.
put
coming-
games on that
coming
poll
into-
that you're gonna play.
Yeah, I know. I'm no more doing these games that I'm just already over with before I start.
You caught
Um,
lightning in a bottle with Nier. We'll see what you catch next time, man.
right.
Crabs.
Can I retroactively put Ghost of Tsushima in that poll? Is that the thing? I'll smash that. But
So we should,
yeah,
we'll do some raids.
been
soon.
loving it. We had a good kind of isolated COVID holiday around the Woods or Wads household. So, and with that, happy holidays to all of our viewers and listeners out there. Your Christmases, your Hanukkahs, your Kwanzas, anything else you celebrate or don't celebrate, enjoy yourselves. Hopefully, we're getting through this year without many more epic tragedies. We'll hopefully 2021 shit will sort itself out a little bit better. So,
Everyone's dick will grow 3 inches.
Holy shit.
With those pie in the sky
That's on my wish list.
aspirations or hopes, if you will, we're gonna end the year on an optimistic note with the things we at Raw Cuts Gaming are hoping for, both realistic and more of the how much weed did you smoke variety. So, with that said, we're just going to do a roundtable discussion here. We're going to mix it up, churn it like the butter. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to kick it off to my boy, Trophy Hunter CJ. CJ, wish list, no qualifiers. What are some things you hope to see in 2021? Video game industry, go.
My number one thing I would like for 2021 is for Elden Ring to be shadow dropped come March 15th.
Woo!
And
March! Shit, son! You could be getting lucky like St. Patty's in March if that shit happens.
So the reason I want it dropped soon is because I just finished platinuming Demon Souls. I have my Souls form pretty back well into shape right now. I don't want to push it out too far. Now I know this is not going to happen, and I'd like just to release date anytime next year. But I want it soon because I'm in good Souls form right now. I don't want to have it on January 1st, 2021, because another one of my hopes and wishes, and which is probably a little more realistic, is for Hitman 3 to be badass as 1 and 2 are.
It's going to be, for sure.
Yeah, and I did pre-order that game. I normally don't pre-order games, but IO Interactive has done so right by me for their first 2 that I figured it's worth me putting down the money for it. So I have that coming in early January, and so I'd be ready, spend a good couple month and a half or so on that, and then dive headfirst into Elden Ring. So I'd love to figure out what Elden Ring's even about. What's the gameplay like? I'm sure it's Soulsy. But a release date, and I want it soon, man. I've got that thirst for more Souls. And
hey. You know who else would love to figure out what Elden Ring is about? George R.R. Martin.
And FromSoft and Sony. Yeah. So I want Elden Ring to be awesome. That and I want it to come out now as soon as possible. So that's my number one hope. What are you hoping for in the new year?
Let's see, for gaming. I hope to get a PS5. So that would be.
So yeah, I thought you bought.
Fuck you, Walmart.
Oh yeah, Walmart took my money, and then one dude, as I just keep repeatedly phoning in, they told me that they lost it in transit.
Vin Diesel get it?
Yeah, so Vin Diesel ended up with it. But they just keep telling me to check back in. So I think the help desk can't actually do anything unless Walmart shows that it's in stock. So because they don't have the option to actually replace the order, and so for right now I'm keeping the order open and I'm not letting them
Yes.
cancel it,
Right.
so that I'm just assuming at some point they'll have stock that stays in stock, and then until
So did
then,
you ask them? Did you ask them though? Because like there was the whole when you were saying that, right? During the week that had happened, there was a whole flubberbaloo about Walmart doing a whole bunch of cancellations on pre-orders because there were bots doing a bunch of pre-orders.
yeah,
And
they, yep.
scrubbed them all, but there were a lot of just normal people who became a casualty of war within that fodder. I believe you were probably one such person.
No, they didn't cancel my order. So that was you're thinking of they relisted the PlayStation as sellable, and then they caught people in that round being bots, and then you didn't let them purchase.
Right. They relisted for sellable after it was lost in transit, which is annoying.
Correct.
They should have replaced your stock before
That's what I tried to yell at them about. So I said, you guys are
Rightfully
selling
so.
this still, and
Right.
I don't
Which
have
is bullshit.
mine. You guys are a bunch of asswipes.
Right.
So basically, I'll just keep redoing customer support, but trying to find it elsewhere. But yeah, so PS5's on my list, so that would be good. I'm actually, I'm kind of hopeful with the cyberpunk disaster. It looked like, by the way, that lawsuit did get filed, so I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that
They
today.
did.
And
See that, yeah.
I think the basis of the lawsuit is going to be changing the way shit gets certified on each platform, and I hope that leads to something. I really don't want to see any more of these types of launches. I don't want to see any more games getting hyped with a release date before they're actually confirmed. I think that's what this lawsuit's all about. It's going to change a lot of that, so that when you first see a release date, that means it's done then, and it's already past certification, and now they've decided on a release date. Yeah.
And you're 100% right about that, because unfortunately, this shit has now become the rule and no longer the exception.
Correct.
And it should be the exception and not the rule.
Yeah, the day one patch stuff gotta stop. It's
well,
done.
I don't mind day one patches because we
Yeah,
live
but
in a world where
the problem
digital and
is
physical
that's
releases.
that's a gamble. So
But
they're relying on that patch fixing all of the things on day one.
well,
I get that the different version of the game ships, but that day one patch should be part of that cert process then, before it gets released.
The day one patch though, right? Many companies have done many games have had a day one patch where everything is fine.
Yep.
The problems of Cyberpunk were way beyond the need of a day one patch. There was fabrication of this, that, and the other thing. It's a broken game on the PlayStation 4.
But my point is they manipulated the current system, which is the handshake agreement
Right.
that my day one
they-
patch is going
yeah,
to fix
yeah.
everything, and you can't
But
have that.
did you guys see that they with the returns factored in, they estimated they've already sold 13 million copies.
Yeah, I did see that.
And that's with the returns factored in. I was like, holy shit. I mean, we're never going to move the needle on people actually vote with their wallet. Now the cat's kind of out of the bag because most people want to buy this game thanks to what you're saying, D, is manipulating things and not being truthful to what the game actually is. And then being super skeezy with the review codes and,
Well, the thing that
what I
moves
think
it
is gonna
is
be interesting
it's always the
is if
shareholders up
PlayStation-
top. So when that share went down 40%, they lost way more than they made in sales. And not the company, just those 12 people up top that make all the decisions.
Yeah, but stock prices are fickle.
Correct.
Especially for that sort of shit.
But
It's reactionary.
Correct, but
It's gonna be
exactly,
fine.
it's reactionary. So those people up top will react to losing a crap ton of money over the short term, because that's how it works.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, though, is Sony what is Sony and or Microsoft's role in this going to be? Because if you're talking about the process of allowing these games to exist on your platform, I think a huge debate will then arise between where does the platform owner's responsibility begin and the developers and publishers owners' responsibilities end.
Correct.
And I think that's going to be a huge point of contention, which is more or less really the grunt of what you're describing this lawsuit to be. So,
Yeah.
I personally haven't read it, so I can't speak from it from a legalese point of view. But
Yeah, I didn't think that far either. But you're right.
It'll be interesting to see what shakes out. Yeah.
But then definitely GT7, so Gran Turismo 7. So that's one of the ones I'm most looking forward to next year. I had that list.
You had one, D. You
won?
listed 3 now.
We'll bounce back to you.
Pass the poll.
We're gonna pass the Cavassier over to Woodsy, and we'll get to your third one there next.
And I wouldn't have jibed you like that, but I love my GT7.
You wanted to say GT7.
I did. I wanted to get it out first.
All right, let's hear it, Woodsy. What do you need? GT7?
I need the GT7, all of the GT7, to wash over me. Hopefully before fall of next year, but I'm not counting my breath. If it was take all the time you need with the game, make sure it's fucking golden. So I don't care. I have patience. I want a proper, amazing GT game with all the bells and whistles, none of the shortcomings relative to Forza. Do it right, do it proper, and I will be as happy as a ham. And if it comes out like May, June-ish, great. If I have to wait till holiday 2021, don't care. I would like for it to be an early summer release, just because I can't wait to get my hands on it. But other than that, no, don't care. So can't wait for GT7. But give it like I have talked about on previous iterations of this podcast. It would not shock me at all if it got delayed into 2022 because that would be the most GT thing ever. So hoping it comes out this year really is the bottom line.
Yes.
Taking it back to CJ.
All right, I'm gonna kind of go for a two for here. Also, they're kind of tied together. I want Suicide Squad to come out and be awesome. I want it to be the game that the games as a service.
Wasn't.
that the movie wasn't. That Warner, that the DC universe hasn't been in general. I want it to be awesome. I want it to be the games as a service that I actually want to play and come back to on a routine basis versus just playing these single player games off of my own little lonesome. It looks cool. The teaser trailer looked fun. I could see getting in there and running these various raids and whatnot in there with you guys if you'd be so inclined. And I love the DC universe. That's why I want it to succeed. It hasn't. Wonder Woman 1984 just dropped, and I watched it, and it was entirely fine. It wasn't great. It wasn't, But what also ties to is I want a good Superman game to come out, and I don't know how they do that in a video game with a character who's basically more or less invincible to everything but kryptonite. And how do you control flying and whatnot? And they've never made a good Superman game. He's been in Injustice and stuff, and that's kind of fun to play with. But I've never gotten to have my superhero be in a game that I can play. So I like DC, kind of a higher level, highest level. I want DC to put out some good shit, and I want to play it. And I haven't had that.
Let me ask you a question then. So we're not doing a lot of news this week, obviously, but one portion of news that I had heard. So you just kind of espoused your DC fandom, right? Which totally fine. Yeah. You're also a big Marvel fan.
Yes.
You don't really
superheroes. Yeah.
Right. In general, you get down for superheroes. So, none of us played the Avengers game, but clearly that game did not have the proper hook because it was announced that they have had close to $50 million or $67 million worth of operating loss in the fourth quarter of this year. That game has not turned a profit.
Yep.
And that shocks me a little bit because I would think
everything they do is huge.
That just the Marvel property, right, has printed money.
Right.
So in DC, at least in the cinematic sphere, has struggled mightily. So does the woes in the cinematic sphere at all translate to? I mean, I get it, at the end of the day, it's about the quality and the product of the game, and what they produce as far as a gameplay hook, but.
Well, and DC to their credit has put out some good games. You know, Batman games have been pretty awesome. You know, the Arkham series has, and I think, you know, Marvel came out about a year. I mean, like we've always said, we always want the game to come out as late as possible, as polished as possible. But if that game could have dropped closer to when Endgame dropped, I think we'd be talking about a different story.
Have more
And
times,
I feel like people are more attached to some of these for some more of these Marvel characters. Like, I want to be Iron Man. I want to be Hulk. And, you know, when you roll with your friends, it's less like that. Maybe it'll be less so with what the DC character is, because it's not Iron Man and it's not, you know, Hulk and whatever. It's it's Harley Quinn and it's Deadshot and all these other characters that are maybe you'll be more inclined to roll with other characters.
It's characters who people don't have like this huge emotional investment with.
Other than like the extreme fanboys and fangirls, obviously.
Right.
So maybe it'll be a little bit easier to get your hooks in you than that. I think Avengers could have came out if it was just this nice, tight single player, maybe multiplayer where it's a story-based game. But like this games as a service where you're constantly rolling the same missions, maybe that's the wrong mark for that type of game. I don't know. I didn't play it. I can't tell. I know some people played it and liked it. I'm sure we'll buy it when it goes on sale for $10. I'd like to wait $5 for the PS5 version to come out. I heard some of the load times and things are kind of brutal, and they do improve with the next gen consoles, obviously. But I want the actual PS5 experience.
Right.
Yeah,
you know, there is a noticeable difference for any of you out there who have played PS4 versions of games or versus PS5 versions of games. Things load way faster, even with, you know, the faster loading times in the PS4 games. So I want that top end experience for that game, and that is coming out. They did say they're putting out a free PS5 version if you own the PS4 version. So I kind of want to wait to jump into that. But I'm not holding my breath that Suicide Squad is going to be that game. You know, because the only game I've ever really gotten into a game as a service has been the Division 1, where we rolled that pretty hard with you guys. But I want to find something I like, and DC is an IP that I like and enjoy. I'd rather it be the Justice League characters, but I'm totally fine, if it's Harley Quinn of the world versus the Supermans and Batman. So
yeah, that would be a nice that'd be a nice genre for them to mash up. Would be something like the Division, and then all of these superhero characters, where you can pick a dude or whatever and level them up, but it takes a really fucking long time, and you have to team up with your buddies in the open world and do a bunch of different missions and all that other crap. And then there's actual story there, because that's usually where they miss the mark. And I'm assuming that's where Avengers is missing the mark too, is there's just no story there at all. And that's where Spider-Man does such an awesome job, is that it's actually telling really good stories.
I felt more inclined to run around New York and run into these random buildings and run into the garden and stuff versus other, these other missions, like in Destiny, running to the same planets just didn't quite have the same feel to it. I don't know.
And over
just
and over
never,
and over. Yeah,
just never quite sat as well for me. So DC.
Well, but that's also like, we're comparing apples to oranges a little bit, right? Which is not fair to either Destiny or Avengers there, right? Because it's a Marvel game where you might go by Madison Square Garden one time and be like, oh, that's cool, because it was just part of the narrative of some in-game mission, where you're not having to go back to it and rerun that area of the city umpteen times for loot or whatever.
Well, I guess the point that I'm making is I like that style of, games as a service versus the Destinies of the world or any other ones where
Sure.
it's just like you have to go back and rerun the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, the grindy. I don't. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so DC, but you're right, Woodsy. It is two different styles. But for me, I'm more so the divisions of the world than the Destinies of the world. So
Sure.
D,
All
what
right, D, what's your
burning
next one?
third?
I was trying to look here. I did see. So it's kind of on CJ's here. So did you see that Gotham Knights, where you can be where Batman's dead? And
Yep.
I'm assuming that must take place in the existing Batman universe of
Yeah,
games.
that's where it gets all a little wonky. I don't know if it's in the. I think they said it's specifically that it's not in the Arkham franchise or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But Batman is dead, and you're playing as Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl,
Yep.
and
Red,
the Red Hood. I think it was.
Yeah.
Red Hood.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that one looks pretty badass. But yeah, I don't know too much about next year's games. So
Let's get you a PS5.
yeah.
Yeah, you get a PS5 so you can be bombarded with ads.
Oh, I said
So,
I'm on the Hitman 3 train too, so I'll probably jump into that.
Yeah.
I have a few pie in the skies. So first and foremost, I would love to see further backwards generational compatibility come to the PlayStation 5. Now, I will give this a caveat. I doubt it will be of a general backwards compatibility where I can go grab any fucking PlayStation 2 disc, shove it in my PS5, and have it work. Not going to happen. I am pretty confident of that. However, PlayStation themselves have come out and already stated, right, about the intention to match Games Pass Ultimate.
Yep.
So, what does that entail? Just newer titles? How do you not leverage the expansive library that is the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, and even PlayStation 3? You got to do it. I mean, and you can do it because PlayStation Now obviously has shown that you can do it. So, whatever this new service package is, I'm excited to hear about. I'm excited to potentially be a subscriber of. Interesting to figure out, like, how will the grandfathering work for those of us who are booked up with PS Plus through 2027. What will be the response, as it were, to Microsoft's service offerings, which are undoubtedly great. So they've announced that they're going to match it in some capacity. It's just the what and the how and the when that were lacking.
Yeah.
So
that'd be nice to see
curious.
that.
I would like to see that happen this next year, because I feel like, doing something like that combined with, so say Gran Turismo doesn't launch till the fall, right? You got Horizon Zero Dawn 2 predicted for the fall, potentially God of War 2.
Yep.
And then say Gran Turismo 7 doesn't make it out till fall, which is more than
more and more likely, yeah.
And then they do this other service offering on top of it. I mean, Microsoft's going to come out with Halo Infinite, and what else?
More trailers for Perfect Dark.
Yeah, more trailers for Perfect Dark. So, I mean,
Simulator 2021.
PlayStation could, if provided supply no longer becomes an issue versus demand, right, come next holiday season, you could potentially see a scenario where all of a sudden the chirp about the service offering on the Microsoft end kind of fades away because PlayStation has done their own thing now that is pretty equivalent and awesome. Sony could shut that door a little bit. They could shut that door. So we'll see what happens.
I like that, Woodsy. That's a good one. I'm very excited to see what they did. 'Cause they did come out and say that they are looking to go to this games as a service answer for the, or not. I'm sorry, service pass answer, and that likely will come out next year if it's in the works. So yeah, I'm excited to see that.
Good.
Another feature, and maybe you could talk to it a little bit, Woodsy, because you sent the article. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I want to be able to go and take all my old discs and turn them into GameStop and or Target or wherever, and they say, here's your download code for your digital version of game X that I don't want to, Grand Theft Auto. Here's your Grand Theft Auto digital code for us. You have to go and put the disc in and hear that thing hum. That's the one thing my PlayStation does, is it will hum a bit once in a while when a disc is in there.
Right.
So I want to take my discs and I want to get them out of my house, and I want to get the digital code so I can be lazy and just hop to whatever game I want.
Well, and it's not just the laziness. It's just it's not really about being lazy, and I don't fault you. And for those who are just doing it because they're lazy, I don't fault you either. The bottom line is this: technology and media consumption over the last 20 years has shifted broadly in favor of digital licensing ownership or renting, depending upon where you're getting it from, right? So I just see it as a transition that I would love for Sony to help its consumers make. And if that means I go into a GameStop or wherever else, I have to pay a $5 hit, hand them my disc, they throw it in the shredder, hand me a digital code, good to go. But Sony would have to now then roll back and or evolve their stance on digital storefront code licensing and selling. Because right now, you want a digital code for a game on the PlayStation Store? They're the only fucking game in town. So they would have to finagle that. It would be a boon for GameStop, granted a short-term one, I would imagine, because those people who just love their giant wall of discs aren't going to all of a sudden be like, I'm going to give it all away. No, they love that for the physical collection and the aesthetics of it as much as they do of the ownership of the games. Me, I just love the accumulation of the catalog. So, for me personally, I completely agree with you, and I would love for them to solution that in some manner. How?
I know D's been banging that drum pretty hard too. I know, right, D?
I went digital like 4 years ago already. So I don't buy shit unless it's digital. So I've run into that with you guys when you're like, oh my god, we can get this game for $3.50. But if I turn in 17 codes and buy it from Walmart and then resell it to Target or wherever the fuck you guys do, and I'm like, you know what I want to do? Not that. I'll just pay my $20 and buy it on the digital storefront. So,
Hey, hate the player, don't hate the game.
Hey, I don't fault you guys for saving the money. I'm all the way in CJ's boat already because I hate having all of the discs. It drives me goddamn bananas.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. No, I don't blame you. And for the longest time, I was a huge fan of my giant disc catalog, and I would love to get rid of them all. I don't need them.
Okay.
So
that trade-in, that's a big thing that's missing.
Yeah, somehow. Well, it's not even. I mean, they could figure out some way to do it, right? And it wouldn't even be that hard. They wouldn't technically even have to deal with GameStop if they wanted to profit.
And just send them to someone with Sony.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, GameStop would just be an easy medium, you know, and a boom for GameStop because they'd get a cut of the profits. Sony would get a cut of the profits. You know, everybody kumbaya.
Everybody's happy.
Right. But if they wanted to do like a Netflix style thing, they could fucking do that too. like old OG Netflix for those of us who are old enough to remember what
Discs in the mail.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
What do you got? Anything else left on your list for wishes for 2021?
No, I'm good. I'm very content being a gamer.
It's a good way to put it. What's anything left for you?
You know what? I mean, maybe announcement of a PSVR 2?
That ain't coming yet.
Maybe?
It
What are you
came out back in
talking about,
November. What are
T?
you talking about?
Where's your faith now?
I've
Where's your faith now?
fucking lost it all. That shit ain't coming until 2023.
All right. Well, CJ, have you got anything else or no?
That's it, man.
All right.
I think D put it nicely. I'm excited to be a gamer. So
I am too. I'm
It'll be a
excited
good
for
year next year.
2021. If I could say one last thing on my list, it's that I hope that when Halo comes out, that it's bomb. I want an excuse to buy an Xbox. Give me a fucking excuse to buy an Xbox. So that that would be the one. So with that, everybody, we're gonna wish you preemptively a happy New Year. Again, happy holidays to you and yours. We're going to be coming out with a banger of a show for our episode number 25, which will be transpiring a week from today. And you, again, catch us live on YouTube at Raw Cuts Gaming at the channel. We're going to be hitting that heavy with our not only our games of the year, but our personal games of the year, meaning so there are those games which are great that we actually played that came out over the last calendar year. And then there are just the games that we played that we loved that we played during this past calendar year. So we're going to be doing our games of the year show for y'all. And we'd love for you to tune in and enjoy that and let us drone on and bore you with all of our bullshit. So, with that being said, this concludes episode 24 of the Raw Cuts Gaming Podcast.
Hooray!
Thanks to the listener for tuning in to our uncut takes on all things video games. We'll hope you join us again each and every week. Pop on. And if you'd like to be a part of the conversation, or tell us how much you hate our ugly ass mugs, we encourage you to reach out to us via Twitter at Raw Cuts Gaming. And if you'd like to see us see this podcast recording on YouTube, check out the Raw Cuts Gaming channel. And if you don't like Twitter, please send us your interesting thoughts at the Gmail we never check, rawcutsgaming@gmail.com.
Send us a report.
Yeah, definitely. All the porns. Especially, we're giving it to you, give it back to us.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah, that's right.
Nibble slips, everything.
Right. All of it. Don't forget Twitches. We're on the Twitches at Raw Cuts Gaming.
And hit us up at Raw Cuts Gaming on Twitch. Thank you very much, D. And D, if people want to reach out to you, where's the best place to do so?
I am on Twitter at NakedGamer84 and Twitch on noob with the zeros _NakedGamer.
Siege.
if you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter also at CJ Reindl.
You'd also find him on your nearest street corner, that little
Yeah.
And if you want to find me, don't look on a street corner because nobody's buying.
No, man, he's in the dumpster.
_Woods_Watts at Twitter. I'll let you boy. All right, everybody. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Slide ya. We love you very much.